There are concerns the Chinese government could be using popular social media app TikTok as a propaganda tool. New Zealand is the latest to follow the UK, US and European Union in banning the Chinese-owned video sharing app from government mobile phones on security grounds. Joining me now live is Professor of Cybersecurity at Monash University, Nigel Phair. Thank you very much for joining us. Is this app a threat to national security?
Yeah, good afternoon, Danica. I actually don't think it is. I think there's a lot of supposition around what the app does and doesn't do. I think it's important to look at what information we really do reveal ourselves across all social media, including, in this example, TikTok, and how popular it is, what information you put in, what information can be gleaned. I think we need a much broader conversation.
So, just on that then, do you believe it can be used to spread propaganda or is that a stretch?
We don't really know, and I probably suppose that's the real question here. I think it's a bit of a stretch when we look at what social media is and how popular it is, whether it's for governments, whether it's for businesses, whether it's for individuals. I suppose in relation to some of the international governments that are looking at banning it on government devices, it's looking at the risk assessment that they should undertake in making that decision. But we shouldn't conflate that with individuals using it, have a good user experience of viewing content, uploading videos, and hanging out with their friends and family.
So do you believe that Australia should follow other nations in banning the use on government phones?
No, I don't think we should ban it for a number of reasons. Banning anything online definitely doesn't work. We end up just playing whack-a-mole. You can access it through other means, and there'll be other social media companies that will come along over time, and we just can't go into a regime of banning. So I think the best case really to do is education, and that is educating all people out there on social media, whatever platform you use, about this is the good, the bad, and the indifferent. If you start putting in personally identifying information, the reality is it will be used by advertisers to heavily target you based on your preferences and your likes. Now, some people that suits them, getting that heavily targeted advertising, others not. But that's where, Danica, we need to have this mature discussion about what it means to participate online.
Yeah, absolutely. If you've got the app, though, what would be your advice to people?
Well, my first piece of advice is be wary about what information you put in there that might identify who you are. So, for example, your workplace, your social life, if you've got children, the school they go to, all those little cyber safety tips that you should be wary about, your location, anything that signifies that you might be away on holidays that predators or other criminals may use. I think that's where we need to start the conversation about what we post online and what it means and what information we give out about ourselves and what we receive from others.
Yeah, some really good advice there. Let's move on now. I want to ask you about Latitude Financial. It's the latest company to be hit by a cyber attack. The data of about 330,000 people have been stolen. It's a bit like deja vu in a way, Nigel. How can this happen again?
I shrug my shoulders and I sigh as we just see week after week of another major, and this is major, cyber attack. I think what's disappointing about this one is the lack of communications which has come out of the company. I've read the ASX announcement, it tells us nothing. Some of the media reporting, because of that, is unable to actually pinpoint actually how many victims there are. Of course, what data has been lost from those. I'd really like to see a company spokesman, and preferably someone really senior in the company, come out and talk to the media and say, this is what it means for you as an individual. And as a result of that, consumers out there can start making informed and actionable choices. Do we need to monitor our bank accounts for those of the customers? Should we still be participating in the buy now, pay later schemes of them or other market entrants?
As you said, you sigh because we see this happening just over and over again. What more realistically can be done here to protect customers?
Well, when we It's a really good question. What we need, Demetra, is for companies of all shapes and sizes to do fundamental and basic cybersecurity risk management. And by that, it's starting off doing a risk assessment. And that risk assessment needs to look at where data is held. And in this case, Latitude is saying it's the fault of a third party. And it's great that organisations outsource things to third parties, but you can outsource a service, but you can't outsource a risk. So that would be a really good first step, is auditing the third parties they deal with and making sure they have proper cybersecurity posture. But really, until organisations in Australia start taking this seriously, we're going to be talking about this a lot more.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Nigel Phair, we'll leave it there. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks very much.